Thank you very much, Henry. And Elaine, if I would, it's a pity I don't meet the requirements for joining for YP because I would have done instantly if I could. So thanks a lot. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, Elaine, thanks a lot for actually giving me the opportunity to speak in this setting, Henry, to launch a new publication, a brand new publication, which is the Global Assessment of Forest Education. I think, as you have just heard from Elaine, the youth call to action is a very welcome reminder that our young professionals are and the young people are an indispensable source of ambition, creativity, knowledge, and innovative ideas for addressing the myriad of problems faced by the forest sector, but also for working towards achieving the globally agreed goals and targets. And as we all know, there are many of those. I think you will agree with me that modern inclusive education on the one hand and mentorship and professional training on the other hand are really the most important means of building the knowledge, skills, and expertise that is needed for a successful career in the forest sector. Therefore, education and career development are closely interconnected. Against this background, it really gives me great pleasure to launch the Global Assessment of Forest Education. I show the report one more time as part of this session here. It's one of the building blocks for really giving better opportunities for young people. And by the way, Henry, you don't have to convince me about the power of networking, since IUFRO is the global network for science collaboration. We work very closely with IFSA, which is the National Forestry Students Association, another network, and we will hear more from them later on, I believe. But back to the report. This publication was carried out jointly by three organizations talking about networking: the Food and Agriculture Organization, the International Tropical Timber Organization, and IUFRO, in collaboration with 9 regional partners and a large number of stakeholders as part of a global forest education project funded by the German Federal Ministry of Food and Agriculture, the BMEL. It constitutes a major contribution to the global forest education initiative of the Collaborative Partnership on Forests. The two authors of the report, Professor Mika Rekola from the University of Helsinki and Professor Terry Sharwick from Michigan Tech University, really did an excellent job in synthesizing the findings of that global forest education project and in distilling and processing the inputs by thousands of forest education stakeholders who contributed their knowledge, experiences, and perspectives to the project. The assessment examines the status of forest education around the globe and identifies much needed actions. It builds on a comprehensive review of the scientific literature. If I remember correctly, more than 7,000 publications have been reviewed as part of the project, as well as on an online survey that was completed by more than 2,700 respondents, as well as regional consultations with more than 500 experts and stakeholders in 6 regions of the FAO. The report covers all levels of education, from primary via secondary all the way to tertiary education, universities, and colleges. The overall, in a snapshot, one could say the findings of the assessment underpin the need to strengthen or further strengthen forest education. Unfortunately, what the report indicates that we are not really capturing the full potential of attracting talent to forestry. And also we tend to miss opportunities to stimulate the youth interest in continuing their learning about forest related topics. So these are some of the shortcomings that have been identified in the report. At the same time, I don't want to paint a too grim picture. I mean, there are many examples in the report that show how to successfully nurture the interest of the youth in forests and forest-related topics already in early school grades, so as to nudge them into choosing a career into the sector. The report also identifies numerous locally relevant inclusive solutions to forest education that take into account the digital divide, language barriers, as well as issues of gender and racial or ethnic balance. The report finds that graduates are often not sufficiently prepared when entering the workforce. And I think, Elaine, this is also where the link is for YP. Um, because one of the main areas for improvement that is actually described in the report is to provide many more and better opportunities for out of university learning and work experience. So we need to get students while they are studying. We need to get them out, into the field. We need to get them into the private sector to do internships and similar opportunities. And we need to enroll them in mentoring programs so that they can, enter into these meaningful relationships, mentor-mentee relationships, and learn from each other. Another lesson from the report is that actually stakeholders need to be involved, or there's a vast potential involved stakeholders more meaningfully in curricular development, and also in these other activities like outdoor training and workplace learning that I've just mentioned. In other words, the findings of that assessment underpin the vision and the mission of the youth call for action adopted in Korea. And we were there, we witnessed it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the short time available here, it is impossible to give you a full and comprehensive overview of all the many and rich details of that report, and especially also of the recommendations to governments, to education institutions, and to intergovernmental organizations. Therefore, I would like to cordially invite you, and here you can see the cover of the report, to join us for a webinar. The webinar will tentatively be held on the 30th of November around midday Central European time. So please, book that date and time in your calendars, where we are going to have a more in-depth, a fuller launch of the report together with the two authors of the report and with stakeholders. You're very cordially invited to join that webinar, and save the date will be sent out very shortly. The report, I show it one more time, is now available for download from the FAO webpage. So please make sure to visit the webpage to already get your copy, your electronic copy of the report. And of course, it's our hope that the report will inform future actions to strengthen forest education and career development, to broadly benefit forests and trees, and to contribute to the topic of this session, a bright future for forestry. Thank you very much.
Very much.